Every week, people arrive at my studio feeling that Frizz is the primary source of their frustration. They seem to believe that frizzy hair is like a viral pathogen that needs to be eradicated from existence and hope that I have the antidote they desperately seek. While I often do, it's never what they think it is. You're listening to the Tom Zappala podcast. In each valid, emotionally frustrated situation that is shared with me, despite what each person may think, their frizz isn't the real source of their unhappiness. And products certainly aren't the solution. Frizz isn't the problem. Bad haircuts are. Frizz is like a mathematical constant. It is a neutral, fixed unit of expression. It is unbiased. Frizz acts as a sort of visual backlight, enhancing the current state or shape of someone's hair. If someone's hair is shapeless or unflattering, Frizz just enhances that. It doesn't really have a choice. It is just showcasing what it's presented with. In that instance, we relate to Frizz negatively and see it as the singular source of visual and emotional dissatisfaction. On the contrary, if someone has a haircut that is fundamentally flattering, the Frizz will also and equally enhance that reality. The Frizz hasn't changed. It's just reinforcing something that is visually flattering and pleasing to the eye. That is how we ultimately solve Frizz. We change our relationship to it by better understanding and working with its inherent and inevitable functional nature. Despite a rational and intelligent approach to this topic, what I propose isn't made easy. We are constantly made to feel negatively about frizzy hair due to decades of programming from cosmetic companies and hairdressers who wish to sell you their products and services. Regardless of what you're told and sold, none of that will offer a permanent or long-term sustainable solution. Their anti-frizz rhetoric and tactics are also diminishing to women with curly hair and should be patently admonished. Here in the Melbourne curly hairdresser scene, there are two dominant and popular platforms regarding frizz. There's the curly girl method, which promotes an unrealistic, product-reliant aesthetic, and then there's its arch nemesis, forced or intentional frizz. Both positions are flawed, however, as each one represents a fixed, dogmatic ideology that aligns with the chosen creative bias that can often result in people feeling they need to choose between two extremes when neither is a suitable solution. I see that as problematic, especially when one markets themselves as the definitive curly hair destination for everyone, yet provides results that are incredibly niche. As it is with most polarizing extremes, a healthy and considered balance lies somewhere in the middle. As a veteran and trusted professional, I have an obligation to see and treat people based on their individual needs, situations, and desires. My principles regarding frizz come from a place of personal experience and measured understanding. Here's the thing. Unless someone is willing to spend a considerable amount of time and energy dutifully prepping perfect curls, frizz is something that we will need to learn how to peacefully coexist with. That said, it doesn't really matter how perfectly styled one's hair might be when leaving the house. There are always going to be environmental elements that can undo products and effort very quickly. In Las Vegas, there is a well-known and unavoidable truth. The house always wins. When it comes to undesirable weather and your hair, Frizz will also always win. That reality is something people with curly hair are wise to understand and accept. It is also why I emphasize to people who spend considerable amount of time on social media looking at curly hair content to be mindful. That aesthetic that you are seeing on social media reinforces negative feelings regarding Frizz. It also exists exclusively on those platforms for the sole purpose of selling cosmetics. For most people's busy, active lives, what is being promoted is entirely unrealistic. So is encouraging frizzy hair the correct way forward? I don't think so. While I appreciate and understand the motivation behind this thinking, one size doesn't fit all. While it's true society needs to accept frizzy hair more readily, having a creative position of forced frizz isn't the way we get there. When it comes to working with curly hair, we as professionals need to be mindful of the emotional impact we have on our clients. A professional creative bias towards one extreme or the other is equally controlling and should be avoided whenever possible. As stated at the beginning of this episode, the reasonable and effective solution to managing frizz begins with a better understanding of its inherent nature. The shape and quality of a haircut carries with it the emotional weight to influence frizz either positively or negatively. An unflattering shape on hair that is genetically or weather predisposed to frizz will reflect poorly on one's appearance and emotional well-being. A flattering shape, on the other hand, can often neutralize a significant portion of its perceived negative effects. That is why it is always imperative to ensure a haircut is functionally flattering, independent of products and styling. That way, if life or weather doesn't work in your favor, a haircut still has the potential to carry you. One of the greatest lessons we can learn in life is to accept who we are as individuals, inside and out. Coming to terms with and understanding frizz correctly is part of that journey. Ultimately, a well-designed shape and a change in thinking are the only things that can truly help make someone feel more positive about having frizzy hair. Products and effort are just there to provide additional support to help get you over the line when your life needs it. They aren't made or designed to carry you. That's the job of an exceptional haircut provided by someone who cares about your emotional well-being. That's it for this episode. Thanks so much for listening. I'll talk to you next time.